We're going to be live in a few minutes. All right, so we're live. All right, well done and welcome to this series. Congratulations joining us from here. We're excited to have you here. It is our back to school series. This series are going to be very, very interesting. Trust me. When we say that it's going to be mind blowing, then we mean every single word of it. This series is brought to you in collaboration with the Responsible Things Academy. You want to be here, right? The Responsible Teens Academy is into mentoring teenagers. One academy that is awesome for many teenagers out there. If you have not followed the Responsible Teens Academy, you want to follow them. If you have a teenager, trust me, this is a recommendation from TIP. And trust me, you want to be there. We're streaming live on our YouTube channel, on our page, and also our Facebook group. You're welcome here. We're glad to have you. Today, we're going to be introducing Etima Umi. Etima Umi is a founder of the Responsible Teens Academy, and we're going to be having this session together. Welcome here, ma'am. It's good to have you here.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you for that vote of confidence. We do not take it for granted. I'm super glad. I'm also an intentional parent because I see your t-shirts. You're warning us. I'm so glad, and I hereby declare that I am an intentional parent. Thank you so much for this. It's been an amazing time. All we do at the Intentional Parents Academy, all we do together to ensure that our parents and, of course, our teenagers grow up to be well-rounded, balanced, and, of course, responsible because we need help. Our society needs help today. Okay, so good to be bringing this series to you in collaboration with Madam. I like to call her Madam Ologe, our coach of life. So our children are going back to school. Many of them are teenagers. Some of them I like to call them newbies, college newbies, university newbies. In our days, they used to be called jambites. But
Mm,
today they're all around the world. So they are not just schooling in Nigeria.
mm,
So it's a pleasure to be doing this alongside one of my mentees. When you say a daughter that you're well pleased with, I've known Blessing since from when she was like a little above pretty. Maybe she can't even remember. But I've watched her grow. And then as she grew older, she now became my mentee. She was at the first ever mentoring boot camp. She was at the second one. She has been at the Teens Roundtable. She has just been amazing. And I can call her a purity ambassador because she doesn't just listen, she does. She acts. So today we're going to be bringing this series to her. I know of some of the challenges that she went through. When you go into school as a church girl, I went into school as a church girl. It's like you were in a box, and then they just release you. You just go out into the world and you're like, hello, what is going on? When do you know that feeling? Everything is happening so fast. Everything
yeah.
you have heard seemed like a joke compared to
Seems
what you
like
are actually seeing.
doubtable.
Just like seriously, and then you look, there's no mom, there's no dad, no pastor, no mentor, no, just you, yourself, and you. So let me start. Blessing
Mm.
Amodu is our guest. She's joining myself and Wendy for this session. Blessing, you want to say hello to all the parents that are watching you right now? You want to introduce yourself in case there's anything I've not said?
So
Hello.
I'm good to be bringing.
Okay.
Hi, Blessing. Can you hear us? Okay. I don't know why we cannot hear Blessing. Looks as if Blessing is looks as if she's frozen. probably
Network.
network. Yeah. So while we're at it,
Yeah.
let's just keep going on until
Yeah.
Blessing is back here. And
Okay.
how old is Blessing?
Blessing is about 22 now, but she got into school when she was 17. You know, many of us got into school at 20, 21, 22. But
Of us
these
got
days,
like 16.
yeah, yeah, some of you got into school at 16. By
Crazy.
2021, they're already done. You know, so we
Hmm.
see, younger children. In my days, I would hardly say 18 in university. It was hard. But now we even see 15. I know a 15-year-old girl that went to
Mm-hmm.
school and she went to school outside Nigeria. you
Wow.
know, it's really tough for it could be really tough. I mean, it's tough for anybody. Talk less of, someone who is really young. Blessing, can you hear us now?
Hi, Blessing.
Yes, I can. I can hear you now.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I
we're
can.
asking you to just introduce yourself and then, yeah, tell us what a little about yourself and when you got into school and all that. Good to be bringing this series to you.
Yes, Blessing.
Shaking network. Okay, so let me just write down. Blessing, when you are back, please
Okay.
let us know. Just say hello and then I'll just stop talking. So I want to say to every parent here that what happens or what will eventually happen to your child on campus has a lot to do with what you're doing now. Yesterday, I said something to some parents. I said, your child being in campus is not a function of his JAM score, his ability to pass his exams,
Mm.
okay, the fact that you're able to afford a particular kind of school, the fact that he's able to go to maybe school abroad or something, that's not what is going to determine how well he's going to do in school. Blessing, you're back in now.
While Blessing is coming, if you're just joining us, please tell us where you're joining us from. Tell us where you're watching us from. Tell us where you are streaming live from. Etima Ume of the Responsible Things Academy is streaming from the same location that I'm streaming from. Streaming from FCT, the capital city of Abuja. I'm also streaming from FCT. In fact, I probably will not be more than 5 kilometers away from where she is. so probably streaming from the same district, the same location. So just tell us where you're watching us from in the comment section. We want to hear from you. We want to see you. We want this to be as interactive as possible. As Blessing gets in here, we're going to hear all the stories that we need to hear from her. Her network is a bit shaky, but trust us, she's going to be back here. She's trying to find a suitable place to be able to actually do this. Yes, Etima, back to you.
Okay, so when our children go into school, it's like a test of everything that we have put into them. What you have put and what you have not put. Everything just comes out there. Everything comes out to the open. Aside, I want to just say that aside us. Okay, can you hear me, Wendy?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Okay, so Blessing, can you hear me now?
Aside us.
Yeah, I can hear you, Auntie Wendy.
Okay.
I think it is better now.
Yeah, okay, so just go ahead, introduce yourself, tell us a bit about yourself, when you got into school, and just a bit about yourself. Then I'll go on with my next question.
Okay, my name is Blessing Amadu, and I am an undergraduate 300 level student of early childhood education at the Kunle Ajasin University, and I am part of the Teens Roundtable, that's the mentorship of Etima Ume, and I've done several things. So I'm also a volunteer. I do volunteering jobs for organizations, and also that's about me basically.
Okay, so
Okay,
you got
Blessing,
into
your
school at
environment is a
17,
little
right?
bit too noisy.
How was it?
If you can move away from that environment where you are, it's actually pretty very noisy that we can barely hear you. So if you can move away from there, we'll be so glad, right? So that we'll be able to hear you better. So you need to move away from that noise. There's a noise, either a generator noise or something. Just try to move away from there.
Can you hear me now?
Sima, over.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's better, Blessing.
Yes, it's better. Just move away to where you can find, some quiet and some calm.
It's better now.
Sima, go ahead.
Yes, I can.
Okay, as I said, my name is Blessing Amadu, and I'm on the grad of Additional University 300 early childhood to be precise. And I, I'm a lover of God, and I engage in so many volunteering jobs. I volunteer for organizations to use my time and all. And I'm also part of the Teens Roundtable,
Hello,
which
okay,
is
so while
run by Mrs. Etima Ome.
Yes, Etima, are you there? Okay, all right. So, Blessing, thank you for being here. Part of what we want to do today, right? It's your environment is still a bit noisy. Can you get into a house, where you are? Would that be possible? Maybe that would also help us to minimize the noise, because there's pretty so much noise in your environment still. If you can get into a space that is a bit more quiet, so that we'll be able to hear you a lot more better. All right, so while we are at it, we are streaming live on the Back to School series. Part of what we want to do today is to have conversations on the battles that young people have when they get into school. Why is it so? What is happening exactly? Why exactly do we have these issues, in school? Now, this is the trials of the church girl on campus. So we brought Blessing Amodu. Blessing Amodu is part of the teens in the Teens Roundtable of the Responsible Teens Academy by Etima Ume. And we have Blessing come to share with us the trials that she had as a campus person. I want to see in the comment section, at what age did you go to school? I went to school at 16. That was pretty young. Trust me, none of my children is going to do that. There are too many effects of going to school that early, but I went to school that early, yes. And I also had my own trials, a lot of it, right? Because in those days, provided that you're smart, provided that a lot of things has happened, you just find out that you are, you are in school because you're smart. Being smart was one of the anchors of being in school. Of course, being smart is not enough, which is what part of what it is that we're saying. We're saying that beyond age, there are other factors that must be considered before your child gets into school, university, higher institutions, especially. All right. So part of what we're trying to do today is to ensure that we get parents to begin to look beyond the marks, begin to look at the things that really matter, that is not just the marks, right? Yes, 16, 17. Let's hear you at what point, let's hear you at what point did you get into the university? At what point did you get into the university? Blessing, can you hear me now? All right. So as Blessing is trying to get set her device, please let's hear you. At what age did you get into the university? I can see 16. I can see 17. I got in at 16, and by 20, I was done with school. As far as I'm concerned, that was it was it was pretty much of a struggle. There were too many struggles. People come to me and say, "But you came out tops of your class. That shouldn't be a problem." But I tell you, I struggled, even though I came out tops of my class. Yes, I struggled. I struggled. Story for another day. I think I need to do my own interview of the Back to School series, and you get to hear. So, Blessing, if you're back here, let me know. And if you can hear me, let me know. All right. The third world internet is at it. I went to school in my 20s, fully aware of what I wanted. So I was able to withstand the pressure even as a church girl. Awesome. 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 You know, I was listening to someone, a conversation recently, and I told the person that I do not think that my children will go to school before they'll go to school immediately they come out of school. Of course, obviously, they're going to finish school by the time they were about 18, but I wouldn't want them to be in school, right? I wouldn't want them to be in school at that age. I want them to be fully aware, right? I would even want them to run a business before they get in school. Well, my ideas are very, very weird to some point, but really, there are struggles. And if we're all sincere to ourselves, we will realize that there's lots and lots of struggles that I know that are out there happening. Please, Blessing, you need to unmute yourself. You need to unmute yourself so that you'll be able to hear. Tima, you're back. Over to you.
Yes. Okay. So what happened while I was away? The network.
Hi, Tima, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Okay. Had Blessing said anything?
Not yet, because Blessing
Okay.
Blessing hasn't been
Okay. Her
able
network.
to. Yes,
Yeah.
her
Okay.
network is
So
still battling. Yeah.
so there, I was a church girl myself, and I know the kind of challenges that I faced when I got into school. Okay, you have challenges of, dating and relationships coming to you bumper to bumper, okay, back to back. You have the challenge of just being free to have fun on campus. That is, attend parties, be at the nightclubs and all that. You had that challenge, and you have the challenge of having to sort lecturers out and all that. Okay, so many of these challenges, I was not prepared for them. I was not told, I was just told when you go to school, don't follow bad friends, read your books, you know, be a good girl. That was all. Most of our parents, that was all they could tell us. They didn't really see to. I didn't know that there were female cult groups. I just got into school and I just heard that, oh, they're female cultists. I was like, seriously? So those were the things. So Blessing, I know you got into school as a church girl. When you got into school, what was the first thing you did? You find a church? Because I know I schooled in my city. That's where I live. But I know you school outside Abuja. So when you got into school, what was the first thing you did? Did you go find a church, a fellowship? What was that first thing that you did to guard your spiritual gates at least?
Okay, I think if I got you correctly, because I'm really having a hard time hearing, is what did I do first when I got to school because of my exposure at home, because I had my parents and my mentoring. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, so what was the first
Yes.
step you took? Yes, when you got in there, yeah.
Okay, I think I got to school quite early. I just finished secondary school and I got admission immediately afterwards, and it was like, okay, I had gotten everything I needed because I had gone through my parents, I had gone through my mentors and all. The first thing I did when I got to school was locate my church. That was the first thing that was on my mind. Like, okay, I was going to find my church first first of all, because I felt that was like a covering for me. You know, when I left the Things Church for university, I was so used to being under teachers. I was so used to being under that covering of older people. So I had to leave church first of all, and before leaving the house, my dad had specifically that you get to church, you have to do this. You know, just to put light. And also, I think first thing that actually saved me while in school.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, so did you join a fellowship in school?
Yes, I joined the fellowship actually.
Okay, so let's go to the first. What was the first thing that happened? Let me call it a trial. What was the first temptation you saw and you went like, woo, girl, wake up. You are now on campus. What was that first thing that just hit you, you know, that happened that really seemed strange to you and all that? Can you hear me?
Okay, we've lost her again. Okay, let's go on, Etima.
Okay,
Until
so
she
yeah,
gets back.
Wendy, so you know, when I got into school, because I remember that the first higher institution I went to, my dad was a lecturer, so the school was on, we lived on campus kind of, you know,
Okay.
and I got into school and I just saw these rough looking girls, tall, huge, tattoos. Small me, I was just looking, I was like, who are these people? Who are these girls? And you know, I got to find out that they were called girls. And because I'm someone that likes to, you know, in my home, we value, if you're in school, be in school. You don't go to school from the house. Just back to the hostel, stay there and be there. Okay, so Blessing, I was asking you what was the first, you know, challenge that came at you and you were like, seriously, is this happening? What was that thing that came to you like a shock? For me, it was the fact that I was seeing called girls for the first time. For you, what was it? Check your mic.
We can hear you.
We can't
Okay,
hear
so we can
you.
hear you, Blessing. I think we're now off. We can hear you. We can hear you. Can anybody in the comments hear Blessing? I don't think so, because we can hear you. Blessing, you need to check your device. Check your device. Take your time, check your device, and then return. All right? Etima, go on.
Okay, so you know, when that happened, I started to ask, what are these girls doing here? You know, what are they, you know, and then I realized that they were coming, you know, because of another friend of theirs who was also a member like that. Then, you know, I got back to school, everyday lectures, and then I also realized that there were some Rose girls. Those ones, I looked at them, I was like, I could have been like this. So if I was not sleep early, you know, those kind of girls that do not come to class, Wendy. They just come to class, show their face, and step up to the next
And
house.
zoom off.
those kind of girls. Okay, Blessing, can you hear us now?
I don't think she can.
Okay, so that was the second kind of set of girls. Even when they were in school, I saw boys as well. Even when they were in school, they don't attend lectures. They had their corner. Okay, they had their hangout sports. They just drink, they just eat, have a nice time, make noise, listen to music. And then you are now looking like the odd one. You're now the one going to class with your heavy books, trying to submit assignments when your colleagues and your classmates, fellow schoolmates have been having a nice time since morning, just hanging or chilling out the day they come to class. The only time you see those kind of people sometimes during exams, and you're like, she's in my class? Oh, this boy is in my class? And you're just wondering, where did these people come from? One day we're having a discussion, and one of them actually said, I know Bible more than you. I was like, what? You? Bible? How? Like, I know Bible more than you. And then I got to discover that some of them were actually church people, like seriously grounded in church just before they got into campus, just before they got into university. Blessing, can you hear me now? Hopefully, yes.
I think you should log
hear.
out totally and log in back. You can hear us, but we can hear you. So log out totally
Your
and
mic
log in
is
back.
on. Maybe it's even muted.
No, it's not muted. It's on.
Okay,
Go
it's
ahead,
not. Oh,
Etima.
wow. Okay. So, and I began to ask myself, if these people are coming from a seemingly good background, what could be the problem? They know the scriptures, okay? They know God, they have served God, as it were, in their home churches before they got to campus. What could be the challenge? Is it that there is something that they do not know? I got to speak with one of them one time, and she told me that, look, I was practically caged. So for me, this is freedom. So that discussion that we need to have with our children about the reason why you are in university is very important. What happens when you get there? Some of them didn't understand that they were going to come to a high level of fun. Let me use that word. Some of them did not understand that, okay, I'm coming to a place where I would see things that would thrill me, things that would excite me. How do I handle those things? How do I handle resisting the temptation to go out to a party every night? We were not told. I would say that what helped me most was the fact that I had a great circle. I think that's just what helped me, because probably if not for my circle and my association, I could have attended those parties. I mean, I like parties, even though I don't look like I do. Yeah, but I do. And in school, no one to tell you when to come back. Nobody to tell you when to come back. Nobody to tell you, what kind of parties to attend. You're just free to see. That level of freedom can make anyone go gagas. That level of freedom can make you just like, seriously, no nagging, no come and answer questions, no nothing, no accountability. You're just free. Not even your roommate can ask you any questions. So, Blessing, I believe, can you say what? Let me know if I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Blessing?
It's interesting. Blessing, you need to log out. You need to log out completely and log back in. All right. So maybe I should just kick you off from the studio and then you log
Yeah,
in
so that you can come in.
again, right? Okay.
Okay, so
All right. Etima, you were saying something. You were saying something. You went to school as a church girl, right? But I think that there's another set of people that come from the home. You've been raised well. You've been given everything, right? You've been prepared to get, in quotes, prepared in life and all that. But you're not particularly a church girl. But you come from a home where discipline is upheld, things that I am in that category. I wasn't a church girl when I got on campus. No, I wasn't. I wasn't in any way. I was just that smarty that liked book. That's all. But it's not about church. That's not it. Church, right? Maybe it's not church as per Pentecostal. I was a Catholic, so it's for us everything Catholic was everything. So maybe we were also church people, yeah, in quotes.
Good
But
girl. So that's the word. Good girl.
yeah. So I also think that this set of people, the set of people who are the people that haven't been able to see what the world can look like in a place of freedom. Now, let me say, a lot of parents actually think that the world revolves in their homes, which is not true. The world does not revolve in your home, which is one of the reasons, whether church girl or no church girl, by the time your child gets into that world, they see freedom. They're like, wow, woo, is this happening to me? So they go haywire. So a lot of the times, people get into these systems, and not because they are particularly church people, not because they did not. It's just because many times they don't have the kind of exposure. They don't even understand what is tenable and what is not. So I also think that that's also another side. So it goes a long way to talk about what we do at home, what we
Hmm.
do with the children at home before they get into school. So there are a lot of struggles with a lot of children in the university that you don't even want to imagine. Children struggle so much with a lot of things. Name it, drug, sex, name it, many things. So
Alcohol.
they come
You
from
know.
alcohol, they come from good homes, but they get overwhelmed with the things that they see out there. So I have seen people who are
Yes.
pretty smart, extremely smart, but when they got on campus, they were confused. For me, it was more of confusion than it was, of anything. No direction. When we talk about value system in our homes, people say, "Oh, but we have value system." But do your children even understand what these values are? I think Blessing is back.
Yes,
Ah, thank
hope you
God.
guys
Awesome.
can hear me now.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so just run
Okay,
through
I think
your experience. Yeah, when you got in, what were those
okay.
things that came to you, like hit you, like you just saw them and you're like, seriously, what is happening?
You know, when I got into school, and it looked like I had everything figured out. Like I knew what to do, this like that, like that. But when I entered the ball, it was just a different ball game entirely. I had to make friends in my department. I saw people's character in a different light, not what I was used to. I got a roommate at some point, and living with someone else was quite difficult for me because of the life she was living and all. And she was a year ahead of me, and I was just coming into school. Also, I had issues with the freedom. Like I was not used to being by myself. Even if I had the knowledge, I wasn't used to staying alone or doing things myself. I remember when I got into school in 100 level, I'd stay outside till like 10 p.m. in the night because I had so much freedom. My mom won't call me to say, "Where are you? Are you coming
When
back by
did
this time?" I engaged in so many activities, like so many activities. I would come back from lectures sometimes by 4. I'll still go back to school by 6. So much so that it affected my results in 100 level first semester because I didn't know how to manage all those things. I didn't know how to put everything together because the freedom was there, the new friends I had were there. I did not know how to put these things together. It really had a say on my results. Like it had a say on my results. And but there was one thing I did that I was grateful for was the fact that even in that midst of confusion, I was able to select my friends. Like I was able to pick that okay, this and this kind of people I want around me. I didn't let them choose me because if I had made that mistake, I'm so sure I wouldn't have been where I am today. I made sure I chose my friends rightly. I think that was one thing I did right, even in the midst of confusion for me.
okay, can you share any experience of something that you saw girls do that made you shocked? Like girls, you saw girls do this thing and you're like, is it, you mentioned
The,
something about freedom. Freedom is a problem sometimes, too much of freedom, I agree. So you
yes.
saw these girls do these things, you knew that they would not do it if they were home.
Mm-mm. One was even a personal thing for me. A friend of mine that we entered school together, we actually stayed in the same house for like 2 weeks, and 100 level were still friends, and all of a sudden she just on the new leaf. She joined groups that I couldn't think of that she would do because of the kind of house she was coming from. Funny enough, she's a pastor's daughter. That's the funniest part of it. You know, I didn't believe that she could go this length, and because of that we had so much space. I had to give her so much space because it would affect me. And that's not it alone. No, I also had another friend that we came in together in 100 level, and before 200 level she was pregnant. Because all these things, the pattern, the freedom, the I can do it by myself, I make decisions by myself, kind of affected us a bit, taking wrong decisions. And sometimes we don't know that it's those decisions that we make at that point that would either determine how we would finish, or if we finish well, or if we will not finish well. It is that decision we make in 100 level that will determine how our 400 level will look like, or our life in totality. I do tell my friends that it is 4 years that will either make or mar your life and your future. You would come here, you would mess up your life, and then you would leave this place. This school will still remain, but you would not remain the same person. Or you come to this school, you make yourself a better person, you add to yourself what you're supposed to add, and then leave. I know some people that dropped out of school, like literally because of lifestyle choose, then decided to join cults. Inside my school, cultism is not allowed. But outside the school, they practice cultism. Some of them actually joined these things, and one of them was killed. Like in year 3, he was actually killed. It's as a result of these things. This is why I know them personally. Like I actually interacted with them on different
Wow.
occasions, but at some point we just had this thing that just cut off because of the lifestyle they chose to live as a result of the freedom we had.
Mm. Okay. These girls that the ones you talked about, that you said, like one of them by her second year she was already pregnant. Do you think that they were properly taught from home? Do you think that I'm not saying the kind of teaching that if you sit near somebody you get pregnant. I mean, do you think they were properly, knowledgeably taught and informed how to handle their sexuality on campus, what to do about the opposite sex, the kind of decisions to take? And do you think that convo happened to them before they got into school?
The thing, I think they didn't really have those lessons at home, because if you do that, you would think of where you're coming from. I would say this, I've not said this before. The word she always says to us in Teens Round Table kept on ringing in my mind at some point. She would always say, "Know you're safe," as your 11th commandment.
Mm-hmm,
Know you're
mm-hmm,
safe. You know, she wasn't there. My mom, she would tell you straight to your face that, "See, I'm not going to school with you, but any life you live there, it's not my name they will call you. It is your name that you are tarnishing, and your family name that you are tarnishing." So it kept on ringing in my head. I didn't want to be embarrassment to my parents. I don't want Auntie Tima to tell me that you've broken your know your safe commandment. So it kept on ringing in my head. So I feel like if they had something that would give them that consciousness that this, they wouldn't have gone that way. Truly, I had so many nights I wanted to go for party. That's the truth. We had departmental parties. I had so many nights I wanted to do that. where are you going? I'll go back to my room.
Hmm. Hello.
Down. I would dressed up, but I know that this is right. I'll go back because of something they wouldn't have gone that route.
Hey, did you have did you have this experience like the good girls were always sought after by guys? I know that in my time, they just look those bad boys, those boys that don't attend classes that just come like macho guys. They just like the good girls, They just like this, likes to come to class girl, everything, very compliant kind of girl. Did you have that experience? That like the a rush of guys, on you?
I didn't get your question clearly.
I was asking if you had the experience of the bad guys. The bad guys usually like the good girls. The bad guys like the girls that go to church, that go to class, that conform. Did you have that experience, or did your friends in your circle have that experience of guys just putting you under pressure to date them, to hang out with them, and all that?
Okay, there was one thing I knew how to do and I still know how to do very well, which is carry everybody along but still maintain my lane and not let anybody oppress me. In my class, we have sections, like we have people, this group of people, like everybody just put themselves in groups. I try as much as possible not to have issues with anybody, but even at that, you can't tell me that this is what I should do. It's not like they didn't come to me telling me straight to my face that, okay. I can remember vividly there was a guy in my class that walked up to me and told me that, Blessing, you dress like a university student, you dress like a secondary school child. Not not once, not twice did he say that to me. I had that going for several months in school. He kept on telling me that I don't dress as I should in school. And I would smile and I would tell him that, don't worry, semester I'll come out the way you want me to. Then the next semester he will come again. I'll be like, don't worry, in 200 level you will see. So with something. I knew what I wanted for myself. So him saying those things to me didn't matter at all. Or them telling me I look like a secondary school child did not matter at all, because I knew what brought me to school. And I know that this is my own way of dressing. You cannot tell me that I should dress like another person because I want to impress somebody. So they actually came, but I had my own way of telling them off in a very nice way. I'll smile and I'll tell you what I have to say, and then to end there. So I feel I had my own tactics that worked for me.
All right. Okay. So, do you have any issues, or do you know any of your friends that had any issues with lecturers? Lecturer victimization, where they tell you that this your goody goody is not going to take you anywhere. Oh, when you are ready, come and let's talk. Did you have, or do you know anybody around
It's
you
not
that had
even
that kind
friends.
of handling?
I had a personal experience. I had on two occasions. Like I actually had personal experiences with lecturers. Like it was very bad. One was in my 100 level, second semester. It was a general course we're offering, and that day the class ended and I was going home, and I didn't know my lecturer was actually following me. So at some point he stopped me and then we talked, and he asked me to come to his office, and I was like, okay sir. But I went back to the hostel and I asked people that were in his department, and they told me that I shouldn't go to his office, that this is the kind of person he is, that he asked us to come to his office so that he can either sleep with them or ask them to do ridiculous things in his office. And I knew, I said, okay, no problem. I immediately blocked his number. That was the first experience I had with a lecturer. The second experience I had with a lecturer, the lecturer is actually someone that I know, like personally know, from Abuja here actually, and I met him in school. You know, someone since I knew and I took him like a dad, you get, and he's my lecturer, I took him like a dad. On getting to school, he just turned a different, he turned a new leaf. Like, he became a different person entirely, asking me questions like if I was dating somebody, if I wanted to date him, that he could help me with my results. I'm like, sir, don't worry about my results. My result is fine. I like it the way it is. I was like, no, this, he kept on pressuring me. I had to text him. Like, I had to write him a text message. I told him that, sir, this route you are trying to go with me, I see you as someone that I can look up to. You doing this, you are actually reducing your standard. So please, any form of communication, I don't want it anymore. Thank you, sir. And I sent the text message to him. That was the way I ended any form of connection with any lecturer. And I know they'll still come, because I've not finished yet. I've not even written project. They'll still come, but I feel it's you telling them your mind, because sometimes these lecturers come to actually know the kind of person you are, to actually try to see if you are a girl that can be very gullible. When I sent this man a text message, he actually replied me saying it was retrospective, that he didn't mean any harm. I said good. And since that time, he didn't call me again, he didn't text me again. That was it. So he knew that, okay, I gave him my stand, and that was it. Some people give in to lecturers because they feel that these people own the key to their success. No lecturer owns the key to your success. You actually own the key to your success yourself. I've written my exams and I've passed the exams. Lecturers that people say you have to sort, you have to sleep with, I've actually written the exams and I've passed. And I did not just pass like pass, let my people go. I passed well. So I feel those lecturers actually come to test you, to see the kind of person that you are.
I agree. I agree. And let me buttress on this point furthermore. A lot of times, this is a test on you, the child, you, the teenager, you, the young adult. And to the parents listening to us out here, don't give your children this impression that that they are helpless. That there's nothing they can do. No, there is something they can do. Let these discussions be ongoing. Talk about it before they go to school. Let them know that they will be tried. This is also a trial of their faith. This is a trial of their stand, of what they know. Wendy, did you hear this last point? Really very key, what she said about the lecturer. I think that our children should be trained in such a way that they are bold and confident. They are respectful, but they are not afraid.
I think the ability to actually say no is a skill. The ability to stand up to even adults is a skill, and this ability is built in the home. If a child is not given the opportunity to do these things at home and question the things that you do, where you become the alpha and the omega because you are an adult, then you're setting your child up for failure. It's a simple thing, because your child is going to go out there, see an adult, and think he's an adult, so I need to just respect the adult. So until we also go back to the drawing board as parents and begin to look at the way we are raising our children, we have a lot of people who can't say no. So because they can't also say no, right, to us. They can't say no to us. Then when they get out there, it becomes difficult to say no to others, because we have created this symbol of I am your parent. Everything I say is yeah and amen. When you're not God, so I keep saying this phrase that I do not want my children to obey me all the time. I keep saying it because I don't want them to obey other adults all the time. I should be wrong sometimes, because I recognize that I'm not infallible. There are times where I am wrong. If you are able to instill that in the mind of your child understands that adults can also be wrong. So an adult doesn't now become right just because they are adults. So, these are some of the things that we begin to do without even knowing that that's what we're doing to our children. Without even knowing that we are we are teaching our children things that they can now carry on in school. So it's all these challenges, these trials, face everybody. Whether you want to say, God forbid, my child has been drowned in the spirit,
Mm.
nothing happened to her, is a lie. Your child is going to see this thing, right? Your child is going to go out there. Your
Mm.
child is going to be tempted to do those things. Your child is going to, so the less exposure your child has, the more the challenge your child is going to have. I heard Blessing say at the beginning, where Blessing was talking about time, where she saw herself coming home late and saw herself trying to do, things, choosing friends and all that. And it was a bit confusing to her because she was overwhelmed. Why? Exposure. So, for those of us who are also raising children, right? Who are raising children in the religious circle, we need to be really careful because I've seen this really a lot of children when they now get back to school. So, we are now doing this, we seclude them. I keep saying that we're raising children who will live in the world, not the other way around. So, the moment we understand that our children are going to live in the world, even though we are Christians, even though we are Muslims, they're going to interact with people who are terrible. What have you equipped your child to be able to do when they get to that level? Now, a lot of parents will tell you that, well, at the moment my child passes an exam, they are good to go to the university. Meanwhile, there's a lot more that your child needs to know. I'm sure that if somebody had called Blessing and had a session with her on time management, on the overwhelm she's going to see, on the things that is going to happen on campus, I'm sure when she gets there, she'll be better equipped. So the overwhelm at the beginning of, hey, there's nobody here, let me just do what I want to do, it will come, but you will know how to manage it. You will know how to manage it because you have been taught. Assumption is a killer on this journey. So a lot of us assume that we
Very.
know or assume that our
A
children
lot.
should know. Your child is going to university, you just say, it is Blessing, you should know now. You should know that in our family. There's nothing
Yeah.
like that. You know, there's nothing
Mm.
like that. Everybody must be taught. Now the question is, what are you teaching that child that is about to go off to college? That's the question. That's why people like the Responsible Teens Academy have programs like they have, where they are able to teach the children. Look at the things you're going to see, and this is what you need to do. Blessing said something that is very profound, and when what she said was, by the time I got into campus, there were words that I kept hearing. I keep telling parents,
Word.
your shout, your beating will do nothing. It is the words that you speak. I've said this quote over and again. It is rain that grows seeds, not thunder. It is rain that grows seeds, not thunder. So it is the rain of your word. It's not, oh, you're just everywhere. What Blessing was remembering were the words spoken to her in camp. She was not remembering. I'm not sure she remembered when they beat her for doing something wrong. Or she remembered when they were just shouting everywhere. She remembered the words that were spoken in camp. What words are you equipping your child to get out there? That's the question. Is it that you're speaking it? And then the thing of parents thinking that they are the only thing that can happen to a child. They are the only best thing. It's already a failed
Mm.
system. Where you think that only you can raise your child. It's a failed system. Where you think that your child should not, listen to other people, be mentored by other people. It's already a problem because you do not know everything. It's only when you know
Mm.
everything now that you sit down and say, everything rests because you're thinking your world, your home is the world. Your home
Mm.
is too small for the world that we live in. So if Blessing was not hearing people like Etima in the Teens Round Table, these are the words that kept her. Etima is not her mother. Etima is a team mentor. So imagine what could happen. Every one of these things, the stages of life for a child is a lot, is a lot. And you thinking that only you can do this job is an error. It is an error in itself. So your children are going to listen to you. You don't know everything. Expose your children to other people. Let your children have access to resources out there. If there are things, classes that your children can take as regards mentorship, please allow them go in there. I know that the Responsible Teens Academy had a mentorship session that is happening for children going to the university. I think that is tomorrow. You want to, if you have a child going to the university, you want to contact her and enroll your child into that system. So thinking that, oh, because I am the mother of the child, I can be everything to my child, is already a problem in itself. I have said it. No one person raises a child is too big. A human being is too big for one person to be able to just say, hey, I want to be everything. You are the this one, you are the that one. Please. In fact, this is as Blessing was talking, I was taking notes and I was looking at it from a bigger perspective. Aside what she's just saying, that happened to her. What are the things that have been able to keep her? At 2 o'clock again, we're going to host a young man who went into school and joined court. Now you're seeing the positive part of it. The positive part of it is that Blessing went in there and was able to use the words that she had. Then we are going to have another, the other side of it, where this person was not able to hold. You want to be here till at 2 p.m. We're going to still be back here. But, in this session, what are you taking away from this session? I want to see in the comment section, what exactly are you taking away from this session? One human being is too big for one person. Trust me, let your children get exposed. What you're learning might not be enough to be able to raise that giant that you need to raise. Please, there are other things that you need to do with your child. If you need to enroll your children into an academy for mentorship, please, by all means, you are limited as a human being. You are not an alpha and omega. And provided you are not an alpha and omega, it is a simple thing. It's straightforward. You can't do it all by yourself. Thank you, Ms. Sume, for this session. Thank you, Blessing. Over to you back.
Okay, so we're going to be done in a few minutes. I just want to ask Blessing if there are any final words. Yeah, if there are any final words to say to parents, anything you've noticed, happening with your peers in school, and you just feel like this is a problem from home, and then you want to use this platform to just speak to the parents.
Okay, we've lost Blessing's voice again. Blessing, we can't hear you again. We can't hear you again. You need to rectify that and deal with that. Etima, let's continue before until Blessing is back. I think you need to relog in again.
Just in line with what you said, Wendy, which is allow these children to be held accountable, not just by you, but by their mentors. Let them have other people. Sometimes there will be struggles. Okay, yeah, they have the ability to say no, they have the ability to stand and all that. But sometimes they will come to that crossroad where they need someone to speak to. That's the first thing. And then, of course, the mentors are there for them. Secondly, I would want to say to parents that don't leave any stone unturned. The worst thing you can do to your child is to allow your child to go to the university naive, gullible. I call it the avatar of someone that can be deceived or scammed. The avatar of that person is gullible, ignorant, and just confused, believes everything, believes anything. Allow your children to be knowledgeable about as much as he or she can. Let them be knowledgeable about devices in school. Let them know that someone will come to them and say, take drugs, and that drugs will make you high. Let them understand so that they're not confused. You speak to some children, they don't know that that drugs will make them feel high. Drugs will actually make them feel good. Let them know that that's what they will hear. Don't tell them that no, drugs is just bad. Let them know that people will come and tell them.
Just like the conversation that we had earlier in the day. Somebody comes to tell you take drugs.
And you take it. So let them understand the way they'll be tempted. So that's the point. Let them
Exactly.
understand. Someone will come and tell them that, oh, that being in a relationship in school is the best thing that can happen to you, okay? Because having a boyfriend or having a girlfriend is what makes you emotionally stable. What will your child reply? Say, what will his reply be to that person? They need to understand that these things will happen. Don't just think that because you've raised them to be good, okay, to be well put together, that these trials will not come. They will come.
Mm.
So there should be discussions about finance, about sex, about drugs. There should be discussions about parties. There should be discussions about alcohol. There should be those discussions. Blessing, did you take alcohol when you got to school? Just tell me. Just did you have to take it? Did you feel like, oh, you were missing anything? Confess it now. Oh, your volume is still off.
Yeah, our volume
Your
is
blessing.
still
Maybe
is
you need
still
to.
off. We
Yeah,
still
it's still
cannot
off.
hear
Maybe you
you.
need to send. Maybe you need to send a chat. Maybe you need to send a
I
chat.
think it's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah. I think maybe you need to send a chat. Can you read a chat from her?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So blessing, maybe you should chat it out. So, let our children know that you would go there and your friends and your classmates will make you feel like you
Yes,
are missing
I can.
something.
And if she sends the chat, we'll be able to.
They'll make you feel like you're missing something if you don't taste these things, if you don't do these things. Let these discussions be ongoing. Don't wait for them to come and ask you. Just start up these discussions and so that they know that, okay, where I'm going to, these things will happen. Some of us don't do alcohol at home, but our children will go to where alcohol will just be like everywhere. Yeah. So what should they do? Some of them are going to be confused. They're not going to know what to do. They're not going to know what to say. They'll be like, okay, should I drink? Should I not drink? Okay, if I'm not drinking, why am I not going to drink? Why? What is the why? We need to start highlighting the why so that they just take the decision
Or
on
is
their
it
own.
because my mother is going to flog me? There won't be any
Yes.
cane in that place at that moment. Because while
Why?
you're wielding your cane, you think that the cane is going to solve the problem. Never will it. Never at that point.
Why? What's that why? Why shouldn't they stay out late? Why shouldn't they stay? My husband told my children some gory stories about staying out late. He left them to decide if they want to stay out late or not. He did not say don't stay out late. Even me, when I heard the stories of what happened to them, when you're out late at night, I became scared staying out late, even at events. I became scared. So you're not going to be there when your child has to decide if to go back to school or if to hang out late. But let these discussions be ongoing. Blessing, can we hear you now so that we can shut down and come back at 2?
No, we still can't. I've already told her. Yeah, I've already told
Okay.
her that. So we need to shut down, come back at 2. Tomorrow, we're going to be here at 2. And tomorrow, we're also going to have two more guests to be able to talk about this. And then, give more insight on it. Because we've, we've also realized that a lot of the times parents are just will I even say parents are just gullible, or they're just assuming everything is awesome, like one of the cartoons that my children watch, where they just think everything is awesome, just life is just awesome, everything is just good. Life is beyond that, and there's a lot to do as regards the things that you need to know, especially for your children who are going to college. If you have a child that is going to college, my earnest word to you today will be, please contact Etima. Etima is hosting a class for children who are going back to college tomorrow. Etima, when is that class? Tomorrow, right? If you
Yes,
have
it's
a
all
child
starting
going to the
tomorrow.
university, contact Etima. Let that child go ahead and register. Etima also has mentoring sessions for different kinds of behavior. Many times when people come to us in the TIP Academy, all right, one of the things that we do is that we insist that they go through the children go through the Responsible Teens Academy. I've worked with her for a while, and I can tell you for free that you need, there are a lot of things that your children will need as regards, people in their life. People ask me, what do you do? My children have different kind of, resources, mentors, coaches, and all that. I believe in mentorship. I say, people say that experience is the best teacher. No, 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 no. Mentorship is, it takes experience, breaks it down, and then hands you over a key. Hands you over a key. I once told my mentor that I broke down his 10 years of suffering in the industry, and I turned it to 2 months, and I flew. Nobody could see my back. When you get into mentorship as a resource, it helps you, you jump over. So my take usually is mentorship is the best teacher. So if you have your child who is a teen, enroll them into mentorship circles. You might not even know the things that your children do. Parents think that, when you talk to parents, they say, no, 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 no. I know my children. No, they are not like that. I usually smile because a lot of the times, beyond what you know, there are some conversations that will not happen. I like what Grace said, right? I'm going to bring this comment up here, as we begin to, right? I like what she said in the comment section, right? I'm trying to bring this comment up. It's not coming. It's a parent should understand that teenagers would confide in them on some issues. They need someone else outside the home, someone with integrity who can guide them correctly. It's their job to lead them to those mentors. Thank you so much, Grace, for this. Thank you so much. We need to get to a point where we stop thinking we know it all. This is the same reason why we say enroll for a class to learn in the academy. People come and say, oh, do we need to learn? You don't know it all. I still tell people in my inner circle know, how I get involved in taking courses and classes, right?
Oh wow, sorry about that. I think Wendy's network is acting funny. Blessing had sent a message in the chat box to say that her final words to parents was that parents should try to talk and talk and talk to their children, because that helps a lot when their children are going through these trials on campus. When you've established a point of communication, okay, when there's that bridge, okay, when you know that there's that bond, you guys have spoken about these things, it's easier for them to relate with you when the trials come, because they can say, oh mom, remember what we talked about, people not coming to class and just coming on exam day, this is happening and that is happening, and then they can speak to you. Yeah, it could be really tough, but I tell you, it's tougher for those who have had no prior relationship, no vibrant, effective communication with their children before they got into campus. So this is that time where you need to use friendship as a source. The mentors are always there to be that listening ear and help them do well. Wendy, welcome back. Welcome. Okay, so I was just reading out Wendy's blessings.
Thank you. Third world internet to the rescue.
I was just reading out Blessing's final comment where she was advising, parents to ensure that they speak.
Okay.
Speak. So tomorrow, we would have that master class with them. Wendy will be. It's a privilege to also have Wendy speak to the children. We're going to talk to them about their faith as they go to school. Talk about finances. Talk about the friends they make. How to want to actually teach them how to. There is a how to make friends. You don't just say go and don't follow bad friends. Go and make good friends. There is a how to make those friends, and then we'll talk about finances at the master class and lots more, of course. So you want to send me a message after this, and the early bird will be expiring at midnight today. It's just 5K. By tomorrow, it goes up to 7.5. Please join us. And of course, we have one good news. We're going to be speaking with the parents after the master class. We'll have a short session and pour out our hearts to them, as your children go to campus. Thank you so much, ma'am. It's a privilege to be here. I'm looking forward to the 2 o'clock session again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Etima May of the Responsible Teens Academy. Thank you so much for bringing this to bear. I like conversations that stem from, people who already work with teenagers. It makes us parents to actually see where the lines are and begin to see where we draw it from. Because a lot of the times we are lost in our world, thinking that, oh yes, the world rests at our feet, and inside our home, everything rises and falls right in our home. But if you didn't hear anything today, just know that the world does not start and stop in your home. The world is bigger than that your space where you are in. Expose your children. Exposing your children will be one of the best things that can happen to you. And you can start by actually getting them to get into the academy, the Responsible Teens Academy, to learn more about what they do. And most importantly, you need to read as a parent. You need to get set to understand what is happening in our world. A few days ago, I shared a broadcast on LGBT. And I said a lot of parents here do not even understand what LGBTQ is. And I wasn't shocked. I have, in fact, a great number of parents reaching out to me to say, please, what is the meaning of LGBTQ? And, I had a good laugh and I said, well, we're here to ensure that you keep learning. Please learn. There is something you need to learn. You don't know it all. You do not know it all. Etima Ume is a team mentor, yet she's a member of the inner circle of the TIP Academy. Everybody is on a journey, learning every day. Thank you so much, Bukala Dada Gold Amadi. I see you all, the inner circle yard people of TIP Academy. I see you. Always here, always supportive. Thank you for being here. We appreciate every single one of you. See you again at 2 p.m., where we're going to be bringing how a young man went into the system and joined court. And we're also bringing, some more new sessions in the morning tomorrow. I think I'm enjoying these conversations, and I think that it's been one of a great time to actually spend the day. Thank you again, Etima Ome. I really, really appreciate this. Thank you for always working with me.
Thank you so much.
Do have a good day and see you all at 2 p.m.
Right. Bye.